Lesson 1.2, the brain under stress. A stressed brain isn't broken, it's focused on survival. When stress lessens, clarity will return on its own. Stress can come from so many different sources like environment, traumatic experiences, traumatic injuries like myself, the people around you, and many more. All of those things matter, and we can absolutely change the mindset surrounding them. Changing the relationship with the emotions tied to the stressor will automatically reduce the stress that's associated with them. So, your brain is not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You have years and years and years of conditioning that just needs to be worked through and unwound a little bit, right? So, a stressed brain isn't broken, it's literally focused on survival. Your brain's doing the best it can to protect you in the only way that it knows how. So now it's our job to consciously change that and have it believe something a little bit more supportive, um, and something that's going to empower us to keep moving forward. So, um, and we went over it in lesson 1.1, how different things can, different environments, people, objects, whatever it is can affect, your surroundings can affect your level of stress. Um, and so, being that we can't, like I said, we can't just drop everything and change our environment. We want to try to do our best to create an environment that's comfortable for us within the environment that we're already in. Um, Traumatic experiences, obviously, I don't think I have to explain much here. If you've been through trauma, which if you're here and you are working through this, you have been through something. So, traumatic experiences are extremely stressful because not only are they stressful in the moment, they keep you anticipating the worst outcome and they keep you living in what has already happened to you, what you've already been through. Um, Traumatic injuries, like myself, are very extremely stressful because, again, for a lot of us, it takes away our ability to do many of the normal things that we do, that people do, like working, walking, exercising, reading, being social, going to dinner, all of those things. Like we really have some trauma tied to what we've experienced, on top of what caused it. Some of us were born with it. Some of us, stroke, other brain bleeds and things, and some of us had blunt force trauma. Some of us were in car accidents. So brain injuries can happen across the board so many different ways. And so does stress, chronic stress. People don't understand that, stress isn't just something that just comes and goes. Yes, you have stressful moments. That's why we're here. That's why we're working on it so we can handle those stressful moments. But um, it just, when it comes down to the amount of stress that we are putting on ourselves, because of things that we've already been through, is unfair to us and it's unfair to everybody around us too. So, um, like I said, all of those things matter. They all matter and it's all changeable. Like you can absolutely fix it. So, changing the relationship with the emotions tied to the stressor is huge because then you're just not allowing the cause of it to take over you, to take control of you. We don't want that. We want to be able to flow with our emotions, feel the emotions, understand that those emotions are very valid. Because the last thing we want to do is invalidate ourselves and dismiss how we really feel. That we are not doing that. We're not doing that around here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to validate the fact that you know, we've been through some shit and it's okay. It's not our fault. We didn't do anything to deserve this. We didn't purposely um, create the emotions and the reactions, the fear, and all the things that go behind our experiences. We didn't do that. Somebody else came into our lives and they, no other way to say it, they did that to us, right? So it's not our fault. But the way that you feel about it is absolutely valid, 100%. But when you work through it and you understand that, like, That's just how that person is, and that has nothing to do with you. And it's literally a reflection of how miserable they are with themselves, that they have to take it out on everybody else. And especially, the severe abusers and all of that, like they're just so absolutely miserable. And once you start to heal, you're going to see that the people that have done you wrong, and um, the experiences that you've had, are just tied to that's the other person. That's not you, and that's not who you are. You didn't deserve that, and that person did that to you and then treated you even worse and led you to believe all of the negative things that you believe, um, just so that they could feel better. You know what I mean? And so you were conditioned and you didn't know. So, but that's why you're here. You're here because we can absolutely change that. And when those emotions come up, you can handle them in a more healthy way, that doesn't disrupt your life. Doesn't disrupt the rest of your day. You feel it and then validate it and let it go. So, um, our brains use the most energy of any other organ in the body. And when stressed, our energy depletes and we begin to experience brain fog, headaches, physical pain, and both digestive and sleep disruptions. Stress will absolutely have an impact on the way your brain functions daily. And when prolonged, cortisol and other stress hormones stay elevated. Over time, it will affect the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for focus and impulse control, the hippocampus, where memory and learning happens, and the amygdala. I have tried this 500 times, so we're just going to rock with it. I'm going to say it the best way that I can, and we're going to keep moving. The amygdala, that detects threats and heightens anxiety. It's so wild when you know the word and you can't pronounce it. So anyway, I tried. When we begin to identify where the stress is coming from, we can then begin to create new relationships with the emotions we are feeling. Doing this allows you to slow down and actually take the time to not only understand, but also respect how you're feeling and allow the emotion to move through you without allowing it to take over. If not, it will cause an increase in stress signals to our brain to fire off due to the way that we are conditioned to react to it. Stress shows up in so many different ways, from physical pain to complete chaos on our mental health, often both showing up simultaneously. All of those things drain your brain in energy, making it impossible to make any progress toward inner peace and balance within the body and mind. We never want to suppress or try to eliminate the emotions. What we are looking for is a healthy way of feeling the emotions that come up during stressful times. This will be a tool that you'll be able to use to bring yourself back center no matter what the situation. A solid mental foundation cannot be formed if we allow the emotions to show us the way down the spiral. Emotions are a part of being human, and we are meant to feel them, but we're not meant to allow them to completely take over us, draining us energetically, physically, and cognitively. A stressed brain cannot make clear decisions. It can't comprehend what is actually happening, constantly overthinks, and cannot trust what you're telling it. It's so tightly balled up that literally everything and everyone around you feel heavy and stressful. So, stress has an immense impact, on how your brain functions every day and how your body feels, and on your quality of life. So, we're going to go ahead and move to the next page, which is just some simple facts. I'll go over them real quick, because we've already gone over everything, in lessons 1.1 and 1.2, but these are just some simple facts you're going to see throughout this entire program, that I love to give you facts and simple practice. So, facts and practice. Stress hormones narrow focus, and that equals brain fog. So again, heavy stress equals, limited clarity, extra brain fog, slower processing, um, symptoms in the body. Overall regulation restores access to clarity, clears the fog, allowing flow with ease. And so, again, once you understand how the system works, how everything goes, and you're actually fostering better thought patterns, better systems that you're using. The clarity returns, and all of a sudden, like once everything calms down, you literally start seeing things and you have a lot of aha and wow moments. You're like, wow, I never saw it that way. And now I can actually see clearly exactly what it is, So, and that's a beautiful feeling. It's an absolutely beautiful feeling when that hits you, when you're like, damn, like I actually cleared some fog and I can see now. And that what that does is give you that little dopamine hit. And dopamine is the little chemical inside of your body that is responsible for motivation and moving forward, and those things feel good. And so that's why people say, oh, you get your little dopamine hit. Well, yeah, because it feels good and it motivates you to keep going. Um, so a stressed brain is less flexible, not less capable. Again, your brain's not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just tightly balled up right now and less flexible to change and healing. It's definitely not less capable. It's very capable. It's just, bogged down with some heavy stuff right now that, you're in the process of working through. And that's amazing. And that's an incredible gift to give yourself. So, calm isn't forced. It emerges when both the mind and body feel safe. So, I mean, that's pretty self explanatory. You can't force being calm. You can try, you can sit, and you can relax your body and try not to react to things. But deep down inside of there, in your subconscious mind, there's going to be reactions and things if things aren't worked out the way that they need to be, like your nervous system, regulated and your mindset shifted, and you're in a work in process. You're starting to work things. So when both the mind and body start to align, right, and everything's feeling really good, it just flows. It really does. The calm just comes with it. It just naturally shows up, and it's funny because um we're, like I said, I'm known to be just like the most calm, mellow person. And that's because, again, I had to let my nervous system know that it's okay, and eventually it did. It came right along, and I was very surprised. So even my kids will tell you that I'm not the same person that I was years ago before I started this work. And um, I don't raise my voice anymore. I don't argue anymore. I walk away and protect my energy at all costs. And that's what it takes to take care of yourself. You have to put yourself first. So, stress and safety awareness. At the bottom is just a little exercise. When I'm stressed, my inner thoughts sound like. What I want you to do is just think about when you're stressed, what your mind typically, is thinking, what you're telling yourself, and also how your body's feeling. There's no wrong answers here. So, when I feel safer and not stressed, my inner thoughts sound like. So when you feel not stressed out, like, what are you feeling? Like, are you feeling joy, relaxation? Are you more focused? Just really take a moment this is all about observation. This isn't about correct, right or wrong answers. And this is going to be really nice for you further down the line when you look back and at your progress and you see, okay, well, when I'm stressed, wow, I really did talk to myself like that. I really did feel that way. And look where I am now. You're going to see that more often you're going to be less stressed over time. So it's a process, but it's absolutely doable. And it all depends on how much you dedicate yourself. And it's not a race. You can't run through it. You got to you really take your time. Just like with this whole program. I don't want you rushing through it and trying to learn everything all at once. That'll bog your brain down and you'll drive yourself nuts trying to do it all at once. So I want you to just take, today, if you feel up for it, tomorrow another lesson, and just kind of space it out so that it gives your brain time to process actually what the input that's coming in. And that's super important, is to allow your brain the time to adjust. We we do not have a typical brain like everybody else that can just flip or make the switch with the flip of a switch. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Um, it takes a little bit more work for us, and that's okay. It's like I said, it's a very slow burn kind of process, but slow and steady wins the race. I can promise you. And I can tell you that because I lived it. And when I felt like everybody was, passing by me and everybody's getting what they want, and the jobs and the money and the cars and the homes and the vacations and all those things, I watched it all while I sat there and worked through all of this. Um, and I felt like I was standing still for a very long time until I realized the progress I was really making. So don't compare yourself to anybody around you, anything that's going on, their progress versus yours, because you're on a very important mission right now, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. Yeah, it's a very important life saving mission. Um, so the last page in module 1 is just gentle practice, stress signal translator. I'm feeling stressed. When I'm feeling stressed, which feeling is felt the most? So I just wrote down, these are some of the typical feelings that I feel when I'm stressed. Feelings of panic. I can feel it already in my chest. My cheeks get warm. My head starts hurting. My heart rate goes up. Fatigue. When I'm stressed, I'm exhausted. My brain is completely worn out. It has used up all its energy, and I'm exhausted. So, emotional overwhelm. Again, when you drain all of your brain energy, it's really hard to control your emotions that pop up. So, emotional overwhelm. That's a thing. Your emotions just completely overwhelm everything in your life. Negative self talk. Got to cut that. Got to cut that out. That is number one. That'll take you down the fastest. And your brain is always recording and listening, always. So no matter what you have coming out of your mouth or in your brain saying to yourself, your brain is recording that. So just be mindful, of what you're saying. And we're going to learn how to do that too. I mean, I cover that all in here. So tight chest, my chest tightens up and it gets a little uncomfortable. Feelings of defeat. I think we've all been there where we just don't feel like we're ever going to win. We constantly keep getting beat down. Um, and then negative thoughts, of course, negative thoughts will bring you down real quick. Negative thought patterns in general. So at the bottom, we've got some reflection. This may be my nervous system asking for. This is when it's super important to observe, right? And really give some thought to it. So your nervous system is reacting in one of, not just these ways. I mean, I say it all the time, we're very unique individuals. So stress affects us in different ways. But when that happens, just take a minute to kind of observe and see what it is maybe that your nervous system is needing. So at the bottom, I have example. This may be my nervous system asking for a moment to breathe and absorb. And what I mean by that, because I know we just went over, observing and not absorbing, but we really want to absorb in the moment, in this moment, when we're regulating our nervous system. We need to absorb the fact that this is what is being asked from our body, from our brain. So taking that, my nervous system typically just needs that second to kind of think and take in for a second what's going on, breathe, absorb the fact that, all right, I'm taking this break, this is very stressful. And I don't try to fix it. It's just one of those things where if somebody was standing next to you and they were extremely stressed out, how would you help calm them? Speak to yourself the same way. That's all it is. So, alrighty. Well, I will meet you over in module 2.